Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Victoria, Tundu, MKO, Abiola.
Good morning, Mr. Freddy.
Yes. Let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story, promoters of insurrection are in for a rude shock, says President. Vows attacks on INEC's assets won't stop future elections. Reassures Nigerians, no third-term ambition. Yes, other newspapers are also reporting the president's speech yesterday. Nigerian Tribune, shock await those who want to destroy my government. Buhari says burning of INEC offices won't stop elections. Those behaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and the loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the field for 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand. We are going to be very hard sooner than later. President Muhammadu Buhari. Yes, the president has spoken to the nation. For those who are saying the president don't speak to us, he spoke yesterday, off the cuff, not reading any script. For those who are still in doubt about the president, he spoke to us yesterday, and it was vintage President Muhammadu Buhari, but the content of his speech, I'm sure, we'll dissect in a moment. But other newspapers, News Direct, Nigerian News Direct newspaper, insecurity, I have no third-term agenda. Buhari warns destroyers of national assets. While the Punch newspaper, stop threats, PDP tells Buhari as federal government again promises tough actions. President blames politicians jostling for power, says he'll be hard on troublemakers. Lead battle against insecurity. Match words with action. Enough of threats. The People's Democratic Party, the opposition party, telling the president. Yes, the president spoke yesterday. His threat to give those who are causing problem rude shock. Well, I cannot agree less that we want to see action, not only to those who are causing the problems in the southeast by destroying government assets, INEC facilities, police posts, but also rude shock to bandits who freely kidnap school children and collect hundreds of millions and spend those money in our markets. I want them to get root shock also. I want the Boko Haram insurgent or ISWAP who have now consolidated in the northeast to get root shock, not just troublemakers in the southeast. And the day we see the root shock to all these elements making life unbearable for Nigerians. You can't travel on the road now without having your heart in your mouth. Yeah. In fact, the advisory these days, travel only when it is necessary. If you are kidnapped on your way to an Owambe party in Benin, nobody will sympathize with you. Say, what are you going to party in Benin in these times? That is the country we have now. And I think we need the president rude shock to exterminate all these threats to our lives. Ruben Rufai and Tundu, you made the point that the president hammering on the 2023 election, but there are other ancillary actions he needs to take to ensure that we have election in 2023. If there is one legacy this president can leave that will be unquestionable, it has to be free, fair, credible election in 2023. Because in other areas, he promised Nigerians insecurity, we all know better. When it comes to anti-corruption, we'll put his fight under the lens when he leaves office. And I'm sure we'll see more than we are seeing now. Ruben, Rufai, Tundu, over to you.
Okay, sorry, Tundu, go ahead.
You go ahead.
All right, thank you. Mr. Feni, I'm sure that everybody remember in 2015, why this president was voted in was because he said he was going to stamp out Boko Haram. That was the target. It wasn't because we thought he was an economic messiah. It wasn't because we thought he was going to build all the greatest infrastructure in the world. The pertinent problem Nigerians were facing then was insecurity. And we felt, oh, this is a general. He's fought wars before. In fact, we romanticized about what he did with Metasani. And that was why we voted. Or people that voted, I'm not going to say we voted, people that voted for him. And one of the greatest barometer he's going to be judged by is security. That first and foremost is everything. And I'm saying this strongly because we forget a lot, and we are so quick to quote Section 14, Subsection 2 of the Constitution, and we quote 2B by saying, oh, the government must provide the security. We don't quote a lot of 2A. 2A says the people, sovereignty resides with the people hands over their sovereignty to the government. Then in 2B, it now talks about the government protecting us. So the people that own the sovereignty, that give the sovereignty to the government, can we say those people are fully safe? A lot of people will say, rude shock. They will say, we've heard this before. We've heard shoot at sites. We've heard we are crushing. We've heard we'll kill Shekau 7 times before finally Shekau died on his own. So we've heard all of these promises before. Rude shock. Let's give it a week and see if we really get rude shock. Because people have heard a lot of rhetorics. In fact, I would rather the government doesn't speak and just shock us with action.
Well, I think the big issue in this regard, and I try to draw attention to that area on Efeni, is the assurance given by the President of Nigeria that there is no third-term agenda, and that, the government will not allow the kind of predicted constitutional crisis that may arise, as has been pointed out by INEC, if its offices, its facilities continue to get destroyed. There's been a focus on the Southeast, the states of the Southeast. That's where you've had most of the INEC facilities destroyed in the past 7 months. But INEC facilities have also been destroyed in parts of the North, in Yobe, in Kebbi. You may have more in the Southwest, out of the 42 in 14 states that have been destroyed. And INEC, before going to the president, physically to the president, want that the federal government of Nigeria should declare a national emergency. And I think if Professor Yakubu and his team achieved anything yesterday, it was to draw the president's attention to the fact that INEC facilities are not safe, the future of elections in Nigeria is endangered, and that the government must do something about it. And the president spoke very well on that point. And we hope that he will keep that promise and provide the necessary protection for the integrity of the electoral process, because in it lies his own legacy and also the future of the democratic process in Nigeria. That's one point. The second point, on which I had said the presidency probably needs to issue a clarification, is this allegation that the president was threatening a particular section of the country. And he made a point, he said, in certain parts of the country. That has been reduced to the Southeast. And he made the point in the context of what happened during the Civil War. So legitimately, people of the Southeast can say, so is the president of Nigeria threatening us just because we are agitating, just because there is security? Why is he not threatening S-men? Why is he not threatening Boko Haram? Why is he begging Boko Haram? Why is he not threatening bandits in the north? Why is he threatening people who say they want to sit at home? I think we need a clarification in that regard, because the president of Nigeria cannot be seen to be threatening any part of the country, no matter the provocation. The room should be allowed for dialogue. If there are angry people in certain parts of the country, they should be engaged. If they commit crime, then the Constitution, which the president says is defending, must be allowed to take effect, along with other laws in the country. For me, these are the two big issues.
Well, I have expressed my personal views here on the marginalization of those from the Southeast and the missed opportunities with regards to the appointment of the IGP and more recently what did you call it the other day? COAS? That acronym? Yes, that was a huge missed opportunity there. Yes, that was a huge missed opportunity there. However, in this case, I deliberately sidestepped that issue that Dr. Abati raised. I do not feel that the people of the Southeast should feel that they've been threatened by the president. I feel that the threat was directed at criminals operating in the Southeast. Now, to whom do you ally? Your fellow peace-loving Nigerians or to criminals? Let's not all have a case of the Gumis here, where we're seeming to support people who are criminals just because we share the same ethnic nationality. Those people are a threat to the Southeast. We're not just talking about INEC installations. Right now, yes, we are. Nobody has died. But if for any reason the elections do not hold in 2023 as and when due, that inferno will consume us all. So I don't think anybody should leap to the defense of arsonists at this point. But even worse for me than the point that was raised is the fact that I hate to say I just don't believe it. It rings hollow to me. Yeah. When the president said that anybody found ambling in the forest with an AK-47 would be shot, he didn't. That was not a declaration of war on the Northeast. Nobody saw it as that. But what is even worse than that is that that order was never carried out, to the best of my knowledge. So all it just sounds like to me is more empty, hollow rhetoric.
Tundu, but if the security agencies are yet to find any with AK-47 rifle.
But they're right there. We all know they're there. We heard the experience of the Greenfield students. Of course they're there.
What of the Tijana school? The Tijana school. Did they come with?
Security agencies were there. No. The bandits will not succeed.
Mr. Feni,
my point is that it's all empty threats.
That's just.
So my point is not even that the people of the Southeast should feel threatened at all, which I think is even worse. The criminals are sitting pretty right now.
Mr. Efeni, did the bandits that abducted people in Tijana school, did they come with handkerchiefs? Is it handkerchiefs they came with?
There was an issue I wanted to bring up yesterday. I don't know how much time you have or that has been allotted to your segment.
But we need to look at other stories in the newspapers.
Yeah, but maybe I just draw your attention to it. Okay. I wanted to draw your attention to the editorial by this day newspaper yesterday on the future of the National Youth Service Scheme. And I thought that a number of very serious, instructive, useful points were raised in that editorial. The editorial continues today. So we have the future of NYSC 2. Well, I don't imagine that anybody will write part 3 on the subject, but I think they've concluded it. Yeah, but, you know, it's an important issue. What is the future of the National Youth Corps Scheme in Nigeria? Because it's been tabled for consideration before the House of Representatives. So maybe in the course of the review, you'll get to that. And I'll be interested also in your own views. Okay. But I think it's an important editorial.
Yeah. Now, if we just look at the leadership newspaper, where the lead story is the familiar one we have reviewed today. But just beside the photograph, June's on strike is still on. Young lawyers resort to Uber driving. The courts have been closed for several months now. Now, if we look at the Daily Sun newspaper, the lead story, Constitution Review, Governor's orders make fresh demands. Scrap Senate now, Akeredolu. 1999 Constitution below standard by Jabiamila. NLC wants minimum wage retained in exclusive lists. Excuse me. Now, beside the masthead, Tundu, you raised this matter yesterday.
Yes.
And the governors seem to be keen in. Yeah. Southeast governors will approve May 30 as Biafra Day. Umwahi. Sit at home success will hasten actualization of Republic, MASOP. Of course, that is their dream. But the fact that the governors are also considering what you canvassed very vigorously yesterday to make that day a public holiday in the Southeast. Because we all agree that it is worth remembering that so many Nigerians died in the 30-month Civil War, 1967 to 1970. And if other countries remember the dead from such national calamity, yes, that war was a calamity to this nation, then I think the governors, for once, are looking in the right direction. Now, if we look at the Daily Independent newspaper, how conflicting interests led to suspension of $280 million US dollar passport issuance scheme. Yes, we've been talking about the shortage of passports to be issued to Nigerians. But according to this story, the company that has been giving this contract, what they call contractor finance contract, Iris Smart Technologies Limited, it's an indigenous company to print these passports. Now they fund the printing, pay money, they sell these passports, pay the money into the federal government account, and this contractor will now be waiting to be paid. And according to the Bureau of Statistics, yes, they've made so much, $280 million, as well as 1.8 billion naira from the sales of passports. Yet the contractors are not financed. That is why you are having shortage.
Emmanuel Ifeni, well, we need to thank you very much. And just before we go, congratulations to our colleagues who have been elected into the leadership of the Nigerian Guild of Editors in Kano. Mustafa Issa is back as president. Bolaji Adebiyi, editor of This Day, is now the vice president for the western part of the southern part of the country. And we have others there, Stephen Wosu, Yobosa Wagune, also of This Day, and others. So Noah Wikwe, who are all in that new executive. Congratulations to all of you.